If you slide your hand down your arm using a C grip, you will catch on these bony protrusions of the ulna and the radius, and this makes for a really good handle for pulling somebody forward. You can also flip your palm around, and this is a good surface for pushing. And if you push straight up the humerus bone, that actually connects to my spine and starts to push me off balance. And this is what we played around with at the last LGBT self-defense class in Portland, and I will talk more about those grips in a second. The next class is actually coming up this Sunday, September 1st, 2 p.m. at Unicorn Jiu-Jitsu. This week we're going to be going over getting out of underneath somebody without making them angrier. But back to the anatomy of these dragon grips, the elbow bones are very similar to how you can kind of catch somebody at the wrist like a bracelet in order to drag them forward from the extremity. But the wrist is less useful for pushing because there's so many joints in between the wrist and the spine that will just like fold up on you. And it takes a lot of effort to lock up all of those joints in order to affect someone's spine. So the elbow seems like a better deal, right? If you're both trying to pull and push somebody off of their base, it's better than trying to do that from the extremity. But you don't have to stop at the elbow. You can keep trying to get your grips closer to their spine directly, or better yet, their sacrum. But the grips are going to change from like a C grip to more of like a sloth paw hook. And this is the realm of these underhooks to the shoulder, the overhooks, which I won't try to do on myself on camera, or collar ties like this, or jaw pressure under here, which is trying to exploit the bony protrusions of the skull in order to manipulate the top of the spine. And then there's the body locks and the bear hugs, the leg grips, the hip grips that get you incrementally closer to the person's skeletal core at the base of their spine. That makes your pushing and your pulling more effective at the cost of, committing your own body into that equation. But why are we even trying to push and pull somebody in the first place? Why are we taking somebody off their base at all? In sports and brawling, obviously, it's used to put somebody on the ground, which is super cool. But in normal life, it's actually used usually as a preventative measure to keep them from pushing you around. You're securing your own spine by doing this. Alternatively, it's also how you're going to move somebody around a space in general. Like if you're breaking up a fight and you need to pull somebody back and then hold them back. Or if you're just trying to assist somebody get to a vehicle after they've been roofied, for instance. This is also the technique that you would use to aggressively remove a comrade from a dangerous situation where you need to move their entire body with you. And we looked at all these grips at the last class in Portland, but what is more important than learning what the grips are is getting a chance to play with a live buddy and seeing how these things are starting to push them around. How your buddy's balance is affected by what direction that you're pushing them in, whether you're like lifting or sinking as you're pushing and pulling, how you have to like align some of their bones in order to really make contact with their center of gravity. And these off-balancing games are a pretty good warm-up, but they're also a pretty effective sparring practice. You can just do it whenever with your friends when you're waiting around, when you're bored. You don't have to wait until you get to the gym because you can do it like with Tai Chi push hands. You can do it very low impact, no impact. These games are also how you can practice something that I would call performative compliance, which is the art of letting someone move you, but on your own terms, like convincing your opponent that they're winning even when you're still in control, using like stumbling to make it seem like you're off balance even when you're securing your own balance. And this is like heading towards the art of pratfalls and of faking injury, which is how we can de-escalate a bully by giving them the satisfaction that they're looking for long before they've actually hurt you or someone that you're protecting. And if that stuff sounds exciting, definitely start playing around with it and go ahead and ask me any questions that you have about that.